well. There was a video that just went up recently by Marlena Stell, the owner of Makeup Geek. And it was talking about her truth of the industry. It really created quite the ruckus. Makeup Geek is a brand that I've loved since day one. I really purchased a lot of their shadows. They were one of the first brands that I ever bought from. I thought that their shadows were phenomenal. Over the past year, Makeup Geek has kind of like slowly slipped under the radar in like the beauty space. People don't really talk about them that much anymore.
Last year was a really, really tough year for Makeup Geek, and you guys know that. You've seen that our name hasn't been talked about a lot.
And Marlena made her video about her truth to the beauty industry. I actually agreed with a lot of the points that she was making in the video, wanting to support smaller artists and like the industry changing, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But there was one thing that she said in the video that literally like shook up the beauty industry so much. She basically said that Makeup Geek is failing because of the fact that she refuses to charge big influencers $60,000, which is the rate that she's been given.
There's a difference between making a good living for yourself and charging so much that there comes a sense of entitlement. And
because of that personal thing that happened and her being on video, the whole $60,000 thing created a witch hunt against influencers. And I have never had so many hate comments on videos about product placement before.
Once you get to this level,
it's very expensive to run a business. And I will, the reason I didn't do the documentary is because I truly believe that this industry is based on ignorance. And the people believing that this is just like a really good time of people that they love and look up to just putting on makeup and calling it a day.
Like throwing out a broad number like 60K made everybody feel like that was just a universal number for every single person that puts up content. And that's just not the case.
It was just very irresponsible. If I'm being honest.
There's so much drama going on right now.
Girl, she not ready to have her.
Hey, what is up all my social climbing friends? It's Dustin and I am back with another video. If you could tell by this intro, this is actually going to be about James Charles and Marlena Stell from Makeup Geek. You guys know for the longest time I have been saying that this tweet that was put out by Gabriel Zamora that set all of this into action was going to ripple throughout the beauty community. And here we are over a month later and things are still coming from that. I know that a lot of you guys have followed this story very, very meticulously, and I just want to put my input on it because there was a Twitter banner back and forth between myself yesterday with James Charles, and then today he came out with these tweets against Marlena, and I just want to speak for the people that have no voice in this situation. I'm gonna be like Mallory from American Horror Story when she confronts Michael Langdon, honey. That is what we're doing in here today.
Let me go. Don't be afraid, Mallory. I'm offering you a chance to live. I said, let me go!
Rebuking demons and casting them out of YouTube. I do want to say that there has been so much going on that I may have missed some things. Some of my stuff may not be in order because I have went through and I have made so many screenshots of so many different things that have happened throughout the course of all of this. Most of it was in the intro, but the newest stuff, the exchange between myself and James Charles yesterday, and then James Charles between Marlena Stell and himself today. So there's a whole lot that has happened. And I just want to say, I know that there's people in the comment section that want everything to be right. I am human. There is no possible way that I could get every single detail 150% correct. I do want to say that there will probably be a drama channel or drama channels that do not report on this simply because they are friends with people. It is amazing what a little blue check mark on Twitter can do for people, what kind of doors and gateways that can open. But this is going to be coming from an unbiased place because I honestly don't have anything to gain from talking about James Charles, and I honestly have nothing to lose. The only thing that's probably going to happen is I'm going to have a whole bunch of teenagers that get in their feelings and come for me. You guys know I am not bothered and I don't care. Now that all that disclaimer and all that crap is out of the way, let's just jump right into this. So James Charles tweeted out yesterday, small influencers start drama and talk poorly about brands and other artists all day long, but then turn around and blame their lack of follower growth solely on various serious real issues like racism, sexism, homophobia, self-reflect, and realize that maybe your personality just sucks. So I just want to say that off gate, He is trying to make something that is very serious not so serious. There are instances where we cannot believe everything that's put on the internet when people scream homophobia or they scream racism. I get that. However, that stuff still does exist. For you to downplay that in any way, shape, form, or fashion, it kind of gets on my nerves. And for you to specifically pinpoint out small influencers as if they're the problem when they honestly have no hardly any reach at all to reach a massive audience to cause major issues, it's kind of like you're putting your foot in your mouth, because there's so many big influencers that have used these tactics and have done these same things to get where they're at, much like yourself. I don't know if you guys remember the Ebola tweets. If you don't remember everything that happened with CoverGirl, it was covered by Sam very, very well on her channel. I know that a lot of people don't like Sam, but Sam is my friend and she did an amazing job at exposing all of this stuff that happened with the Ebola tweets and holding James accountable. So you should definitely look at her channel and watch that if you want further details into what I'm speaking about. James Charles did follow up that tweet and say, "This does not apply to all small influencers, and in no way am I trying to minimize these issues either. I recognize my privilege and use my platform to advocate both in front of camera and behind as well. I just can't stand watching entitled people watering down important issues." I just want to say, when we get further into this, and this is probably going to be a long video, some of you guys are probably not going to watch this full thing, but for the ones that do, that you are interested in this, thank you. But basically, James Charles, in the end of all of this, comes out as an entitled asshole, in my opinion. And you guys know, I've said that my opinion of James Charles has changed because I do feel like he showed some kind of growth, but this right here totally kind of like set that back for me, because what he did today that we're going to get into a little bit later in this video really got on my nerves. And for him to try to stop somebody's bag, like to stop someone from gaining money, putting food on the table, and supporting their business, that pisses me off. So of course, you know, my smart ass, I quote tweeted what James Charles tweeted out, and I said, "James Charles, big influencers just lie and deceive their audience. Not all, but some. I hope you're not trying to say as influencers with a platform such as yours aren't without controversy. Most successful liars are just best at hiding shit." And of course, that is how I felt. A lot of people agreed with me. A lot of people actually commented on this tweet thread and were like, yeah, we agree with you, because there's not really that many small influencers that are problematic. There's way more bigger influencers that are problematic. So James Charles took it upon himself to tweet back to me and say, "How in any way, shape, or form would that tweet be implying that big influencers are without scandal?" I replied and said, "It's just odd that you would flat out say small influencers. I like you, James, but this tweet ain't it, sis. There's way more controversy surrounding big influencers for doing much shadier things and saying someone took a look and didn't credit." And if you know, most of James Charles' scandals, besides like the Ebola thing and a few other things, are mostly about people saying that he stole their look, and he'll clap back at them on Twitter. It's been a whole big thing. He had this thing with a girl that I follow on Instagram. I think Makeup by Elena is her name. She does awesome makeup, and she has a shit ton of followers, and she called him out. They went back and forth. They did end up reconciling it, and I do think that he ended up giving her credit. But most of the stuff that I see James Charles talk about in regards to like the beauty community and things like that are regarding looks that are allegedly stolen. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong in saying that. James then wanted to be a smartass and then replied to me and said, "You taking my tweet out of context, ain't it, sis? My tweet was discussing small influencers blaming social issues on their lack of growth, when in reality, many act very entitled and start drama constantly within the community, but refuse to take responsibility for their actions." Again, I'm gonna need some sort of example to where some small influencer caused some kind of big controversy that like rippled through the community in a way that a large influencer would do this. Like, I get kind of what you're saying, that could impact their growth, but again, I am really not too aware of too many small influencers, or none, honestly, that speak on things that are not true. Like, I could be wrong, but I don't know of any myself personally, and I watch a lot of small creators here on YouTube. I shout out small creators. Small creators are kind of my thing because I'm kind of fed up with people like you that are entitled and you think you know everything because you've been in the game for like 2 or 3 years. It just does not work that way, boo. I then tweeted back to James and said, but how many influencers do we see that got to where they are by using these same tactics? Not all influencers are bad, not all are dishonest. I can name 3 influencers right now that have all used the tactics that you're talking about with large audiences, not just small influencers. I kind of like got him. A lot of people tweeted back to me and they said that he has no point. That's why nobody is defending him. That's why nobody's coming to his defense and saying, hey, you know what, James, you're right about this. So he tweeted back to me and said, you're still completely missing the point. So I'm just like, at this time, I'm just like shook. I'm just like, what is this kid trying to say? Is he trying to say that I'm wrong and sticking up for small influencers that honestly, most of the time they're 100% honest from what I've seen, because these people are out here spending their hard-earned money buying these products. They don't have them shipped to them to arrive at their door to make a review and possibly make money off of. That is not how this works, James. That is not how any of this works. So I said, I really want to understand what you're saying. Maybe it's me. He then replied to me again and said, drama can definitely help. You're right, but to a certain extent. Many small influencers fight other influencers and bash brands for non-issues, which are qualities that stunt growth because most mass market followers don't enjoy that type of drama instead of self-reflecting. This still did not really make sense to me. Again, I do understand that drama can turn people off and you cannot gain a following that well if you are embroiled in some type of controversy, but we've seen it time and time again. How many people have we seen that are like major influencers that get like ate up with drama and then they springboard their career even further? I mean, look at Gabriel Zamora. Gabriel was at like what, 400,000 subscribers. He had this whole controversy that kicked all of this off and now he's almost at 1 million subscribers. So I don't really get the point that James is trying to make here. Maybe, again, it's me. Maybe I'm looking at this in the wrong way. Maybe I don't understand what he's trying to say, or maybe he's just saying it wrong. But I do not agree with what he's saying. So I tweet back to him trying to be like amicable. I don't really want to argue with him. I say, I get what you're saying. Thanks for the clarity. I don't agree 100% with your original tweet, but what you just said makes me understand it more. I definitely agree. Controversy can turn off brands and stunt growth of an audience. All of this boggles my mind, to be honest. And it does. This like boggles my mind. Like, he's speaking out saying this is what stops people from gaining an audience, but in reality, like I said, like just a few seconds ago, all of these people that are in these places of high stature on YouTube have all had scandals. They've all had scandals. Tati's had scandals, and Tati's like one of the cleanest people on YouTube as far as like her not getting into drama and stuff, but Tati's had her own scandal. It's a moot point to me. I did miss a part, and apparently, like I said, this might not be in order. James said, which is something, and he means referring to drama, that I and others that were once involved with drama have done and calmed down. Many small influencers blame their lack of growth on social issues such as racism, sexism, and homophobia. Immaturity and entitlement leads to watering down of these issues. Yes, I agree. If you use something that is actually not happening to you as a means to like cultivate an audience and get people talking about you, of course. If it turns out to not be true, then that does water down the effectiveness of someone actually coming forward when somebody actually has had some shit done to them. However, the thing with that is, I do believe that this type of stuff happens. I do believe that racism is still alive and well, especially in the beauty community. If people did not speak out about this type of stuff, it would not change. These small creators, honestly, they have nothing to lose, so they speak out. I see so many, especially men in makeup. Neon MUA, you guys should go check him out. I'll link him in the description box of this video. He tweets all the time about like makeup brands that are not inclusive and things like that. And I love that because that's him using his voice, his platform to actually educate people on makeup brands that are not inclusive. Are there situations where this has happened on a massive scale? Absolutely. Look at Tarte. Look at Tarte Shape Tape Foundation. Like, I don't understand what James Charles is trying to convey here. I don't get his point. It makes no sense to me. It sounds to me like he is actually watering down these issues because he has no fucking point. So I did tweet back to James once again and I said, I do think there is still this type of stuff going on though, even with small influencers. It's hard to believe who anymore, but it's definitely still there. And like I just said, I do think that this type of stuff is still prominent in the beauty community. I just do. He replied and said, and that whole thought process is the issue that I personally have with many small influencers because it reflects poorly back on the community, and that is what I meant by my tweets. Hope that makes sense. So to sum that part of this video up, again, you make no sense, you make no point, there's no debatable thing for you to say or show me like evidence to back up what you're saying. Please show me these small content creators that are causing drama. Please show me these small content creators that are making social issues out of something when it's not there. I do not see it. Are any of my viewers, are any of you guys watching this video right now aware of any small influencer or anybody with any kind of following in the beauty community that is below like maybe 20,000 subscribers that has made a social issue in regards to like racism, sexism, and homophobia? Have they made an issue when it has not really been an issue? Please, if you guys know anyone, please drop their name down below. I will reach out to them and I will fucking confront them to try to figure out what James Charles is saying, because to me, it honestly felt like he was going for the smaller YouTubers and the people that cannot speak up for themselves. And you know, my ass is gonna go to bat for something that I believe in, and I just think that James Charles is wrong in this situation. The problem in the beauty community is nothing to do with the small influencers. These people are out here doing this stuff as a hobby. They don't earn anything from this. Do you know how many influencers that are small that don't even have monetization on their channel? They are doing this stuff because they love doing makeup. They are fulfilled by making makeup looks. It just bothers me to my core, and it gets down in my soul when somebody like James Charles wants to speak on a situation that they cannot relate to anymore. And also someone that came up out of controversy. Somebody that had a whole scandal about the ring light. Somebody that went on Ellen and allegedly lied to Ellen about the ring light situation with the school picture. I don't get it. There's not a leg for James Charles to stand on with this for me. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to that. Last time I checked, we can all have an opinion. And these small content creators, if they're saying something in their videos, it's because they feel a certain type of way. They don't have anything to gain by lying. So now we're gonna get into the Marlena drama. I want to say that I honestly feel like James Charles has an axe to grind with Marlena, because he made this whole video with Tati about it. He was in talks of making a actual video about the beauty community, and I know behind the scenes as well that he was working with a few people, and there was going to be this big expose in the beauty community, and that's all I can say about that. But I know that after this video that Marlena made, he felt some kind of way, and ever since, it's like he's been poking at her and he's been prodding at her. He has some kind of axe to grind with her, and I don't know if it's because she knows dirt on him, if she's worked with him in the past. I don't know, but I do feel like he is coming for her, trying to like misconstrue and just turn people off on Marlena, and I do not understand why. Either he is intimidated by her, for one, or she knows something on him. I don't know which one of the two it is, but something between those lines has to be true. That's just my personal opinion though. You guys let me know your conspiracy theories down below. We're gonna get into the tweet, and I have a whole lot to say about this. James, do you think that Marlena's going anywhere? Is that really what you want?
Does that sound like something you want?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, you'll never get it.
So I seen that James Charles tweeted and said, "I'm sorry for all the crazy tweets. I've avoided getting involved in the industry drama for a very, very long time now, but this is a subject I am clearly passionate about and I feel slighted. I'm going to weigh out my options and see what can be done." You, out of all people, James, why do you feel slighted? You are like #2 in beauty right now. You are winning at everything. Why are you slighted? Because you didn't get a deal with Netflix? Or Shane Dawson decided that he was gonna cover the Paul brothers over you? Like, I don't understand. There's some kind of bitterness behind what you're tweeting about, and I have not uncovered it yet, but I'm definitely sure that it will eventually come out. Everything that is done in the dark will come out. So one of my subscribers, Renee Revelinsky, and I hope that I'm not butchering your name, girl, I love you so much, she tweeted back to James Charles and said, so disrespectful and arrogant. Marlena Stell created her brand from the ground up, hard work. She did not earn it from selling out to Morphe with discount codes. You've been a beauty influencer for a few years now and you think you know it all? What a joke. And I agree with her on this. Like, there is no way that in just a couple years you could learn all this stuff about beauty. There is no way that you can master a craft of beauty and networking. It does not work that way. Like, yes, I'm not going to take anything away from James Charles. I think that he is a very, very talented makeup artist. But does he know everything involving makeup, logistics, and everything like that? Hell no. Hell no. Jeffree Star, maybe. He's getting to the point where he's been in the makeup game for so long that if he were to say some stuff, I would probably believe him because he owns a brand, much like Marlena. So Marlena knows her shit. And for James Charles to just be fresh on the scene just after a couple years, for him to try to correct somebody and put his 2 cents in where really, honestly, like, I'm not going to say it doesn't belong. And my cat just looked at me and the room is dark over there and I just seen his eyes that creep me the fuck out. It just gets on my nerves. And what Renee was actually replying to is where James Charles said, this woman knows nothing about the industry other than blaming her bad business decisions and personal issues on influencers at Netflix. This is absurd and I'd love to get in a room together to show you a non-biased outline I've already made on the subject that documents all sides. So you already know that my antennas were up when he tweeted this back to Renee. I was so pissed. He quote tweeted her and said, I went from being a consumer who couldn't afford 3 foundation shades from my kit to being a small influencer to being a large influencer to being at the top and working and consulting with different brands CEOs directly, campaigns and marketing. I've seen all sides. Don't try it, Renee. So, I mean, first of all, we just need to shut that shit down. You don't talk to people that actually watch you like that. You don't talk to people that actually know shit about the beauty community that way, especially when she was sticking up for someone who is in the beauty community that knows a lot about makeup like Marlena. You don't get to do that, James Charles. You need to bring that shit down a couple notches. You ain't it, boo. And for you to do that in a way to where your fans would attack Renee says so much shit about you. Now back to what I wanted to talk about. He actually quote tweeted Marlena where she said, filming today for a special documentary that airs in 2019 with Netflix. So apparently Marlena is doing a behind the beauty or whatever with Netflix. That's fine. That's her prerogative. She owns a brand. She's been in the industry for so long. She was one of the first, if not the very first, beauty influencers here on YouTube. So for you to say that she knows nothing about makeup and how the industry works and that she is biased, you need to take several seats, sir. You're putting yourself way up here when you really need to be down here. You need to be humble just a little bit. You remind me so much of someone that I used to be friends with that knows it all, that can't take any kind of feedback or criticism. Like, stop. Stop. It's not cute. Stop. Just stop. So Marlena actually replied back and said, seeing many comments here, so I will address quickly. At Netflix, had this conversation many weeks ago and approached me about the industry from a brand point of view. There's many parts to the documentary, including product development, changes in the industry over 10 plus years, etc. To which James Charles then replies back to her and said, I posted about my documentary several months ago. There's no denying that you've paved the way for many people over the past 10 plus years, but you also discredited every single influencer who's changing with the industry in your video that you released due to personal feelings. No, boo. No, this is documented type of stuff. We all know what Jaclyn Hill did to Marlena. We all know that Marlena was charged $60,000 to do like a promotion, or they offered to do a promotional type of video for her for $60,000. I'm pretty sure that she could pull out the emails where this went back and forth with multiple different influencers. And while we're talking about that, you guys, I do want to say that $60,000, depending on your reach, is actually not a lot. I did go onto my own Social Blue Book, for those of you that do not know what Social Blue Book is. It is a website where influencers can go and they can get like the cost of what they should be charging for their videos and stuff like that. You guys know I've only done one sponsored video here on my channel. It's not for lack of trying, because there are brands that I do use daily that I love, that I would love to tell you guys about, and it would be nice to actually make a little bit of money from it because I put so much money into the brands that I use. But I went on Social Blue Book and the suggested price for me was 17,000 subscribers to do a promotional type sponsored video would be $1,562.72. Do I think that I would ever get that? Probably not. But it is there. It says the low end would be $642.39, and at the very highest it would be $2,483.05. Now, if you do see here, this is based on my views per video and the subscriber count that I have at the time that I took this screenshot. So I did take this screenshot today, but I didn't actually update. I have gained some subscribers since then. So I mean, $60,000 for someone that has maybe 5 million subscribers, or even like maybe 1 million subscribers, may not actually be a lot, because if they're saying that I should charge $1,500 a video and I have like 17,000 subscribers, imagine the amount of money that some of these people are actually making. So Marlena also tweeted and said, huge props to Netflix for showing behind the scenes of the beauty industry. Who wants to watch when it comes out? Let Netflix know how big this community is. And James Charles was of course butthurt and said, wait, what? So I feel like he thinks that Marlena was trying to steal his style, or was trying to like get in on what he was doing, when in reality somebody doing a documentary series is not an original idea at all. If you had this idea, and I know you did because I know who you were going to work with and I knew what you were going to do, just so y'all know, why didn't you do it then? Why are you beating yourself up over it now? Because I know that this is a rat race between you and a few other people that you say you're friends with, James Charles, but you're really not. You're like a senpai for them. So what? Why? Why at this point in time are you making this an issue when Marlena is doing it? She could not be bothered by what you're doing or who you're trying to influence or what kind of videos you're trying to make. I think that Marlena is trying to make her own gig and do her own thing with her own brand and her own YouTube channel. You had your chance. You could have made this video months ago, like so many months ago, but you decided to drag your feet and then you made this video with Tati. And if you watch this video, James, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So then James Charles actually tweets at Netflix and says, hi Netflix, let's make a documentary on the behind the scenes of the beauty industry and why the community is plummeting. I already have a full outline of it done, the highlights, the faults on all sides in a non-biased way, and a platform of millions that want to know more. Email me. So for you to insert yourself into something that had none of your name written on it, it had nothing at all to do with you. You were trying to step in and impede and poach on what Marlena is doing. You need to sit down, sir. That screams volumes about your character, and I know that you are young, and I know you think you know it all, because I have been there. I am one of those people. I felt like when I was like 19, 20 years old, I knew everything, but boo, you honestly don't. You don't know the first thing about real life. You have got all of this success so fast. You do not know what real life is. You do not know what it is to like literally have nothing and come to something. And that could be anything in life, not just the makeup community. I came from nothing. Now I have something. I have worked my ass off from the time that I was 16 years old up until now to live the way that I want to live, to have the house that I have, to have the cars that I have. And you have never actually had to do any of that in your life. Now, I don't know Marlena's like story. I don't know if she was born to a wealthy family or whatever, but for you to try to insert yourself in a situation to where you had nothing to do with it is very reminiscent of something that's going on in the drama community here lately, and it really gets on my nerves. Why would you try to steal somebody else's shine? Because you have millions of followers? She has 1 million followers on her channel. Netflix wanted to work with her. They obviously reached out to her because maybe they thought you were problematic. Maybe they seen your Ebola tweets. Maybe they knew that the controversy that you have with CoverGirl would not be good for their brand. Did you ever think about that? So while you're coming for small influencers and putting yourself up on this high pedestal that you are the be all and end all of makeup, you need to bring yourself down and humble yourself and show a little bit of humility for the people that are in this community, that have been in this community longer than you have been alive. okay? And we're gonna take that all the way back to Kevin James Bennett. Now, I used to think that this man was probably just a bitter old queen, but I honestly feel like there's some truth to what this man is saying about you, and I hope that if it is true, that it comes out, because you have made yourself look like such an ass all over social media over a documentary that did not have shit to do with you, James Charles. Grow up and learn something from this. So there's one more tweet that I want to get into. There was a couple more, and like I said, some of these are out of order. Whatever, shoot me, sue me, whatever. James Charles said, everything that I put my heart and love and a ton of work into is always stolen by someone else. I feel so defeated right now. It's insane. So you are allegedly, that Marlena stole this idea from you. Shut up, James Charles. Go cry in your pillow in your little, I ain't even gonna call it a mansion, what you have in Los Angeles that you just uploaded. You couldn't even afford a mic. Well, not even afford a mic. You didn't even give a fuck to get a mic to put on the camera while you were doing your tour. That was probably some shit that you recorded on your iPhone. So while you're out here judging small content creators, and while you're out here trying to insert yourself into something that does not involve you and allege that somebody stole an idea from you, how about if you have that idea, act on it? Because like I said, you could have made this video months and months and months ago, but you didn't. So that's your fault. And if you lose out on something and you don't pull the trigger on something that you know could be a big thing, it is your fault. Learn something from this. You guys, I am so heated right now. I am so angry at the way that James Charles is acting. It really just gets down into my soul. He seems so ungrateful to me, and there's so many people that are out there that deserve a following that he has, and to me, it comes across as him being just completely childish and ungrateful for the things that were given to him, and it just pisses me off, because I know so many women and men in the beauty community that don't even have 5,000 subscribers that could do so much with a platform like James Charles, but he's out here whining about a documentary. I cannot get behind it, but I want you guys to let me know what you think down below. I know that this video was all over the place, and I know that I got some of the tweets out of order. I already know, but you guys, let me know what you think down below. I know this is an incredibly long video for me, but I felt some kind of way about it. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you relate to me, great. Leave me what you think down below, and if you are a James Charles fan, you are probably way younger than me, and please, I don't think that James Charles is a bad person. I just think that he has a lot of growing up to do and a lot of life experiences that he needs to go through before he can insert himself in a situation where grown folks are talking. I hope you guys have a great evening, and I will see you on my next video. Bye, guys.